Most beginners hear this and then they think, nah, way too complicated for me. But what if we did this instead? James Taylor's Fire and Rain is awe-inspiring, right? But those intricate finger-picking guitar patterns at the beginning and throughout the song can make you doubt your ability to ever learn the songs you really, really love. So let's simplify it, shall we? And by the end of this video, you're going to have a version ready for your next party that sounds fab and feels easy. We're going to look at getting the basics of the verse and the chorus down. So let's look at the verse, and we've got some absolutely cracking beginner guitar chords here, and I love these. We've got A major, E minor, D, we also have an E major, and G. Now don't worry if you play any of these chords differently, this will still work out. Now before we move on, let me ask you, which of those shapes for you sounds a little clunky right now? Now don't worry, because we're going to smooth all that out in a second. So here's the progression on the screen, and there are some half bars that you can see. And just a little reminder, one bar has 4 beats in this song. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, that first bar is A, E minor, E minor. So 1, 2 of A, then 3, 4 of E minor. That's what the half bar does. But it's nothing really to worry about because this is how we're going to strum it, all right? So we're just going to use our thumb and strum the chord on the chord change. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, can you hear how warm that sounds when you're just playing it with your thumb? Because a lot of people will start with a plectrum and they'll get... That's kind of nice, but I think using your thumb gives it a really lovely, warm, mellow sound. Bit of a 70s singer-songwriter vibe, right? And your thumb, let's talk about what your thumb is actually playing. And it's playing the whole chord. So if you look at the A major chord, we're playing the top 5 strings. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we're playing the E minor, all 6 strings. For the D major, it's the top 4 strings. 4, 3, 2, 1. D, G, B, E. Back to A. The E major is the same as the E minor, so all 6, and the G major, all 6 as well. And they are really lovely, full sounding chords. Now, before we have a quick run through of the progression, a little information about the chord transitions. So, if you play A like I do, and the E minor like I do, one of the things you'll notice is that these 2 fingers, they are pretty much in the same position. They are together on adjacent strings. In the A major case, it's on the 4th and 3rd strings. But then when you switch over to the E minor chord, obviously take this finger off, but then you have the same 2 fingers but on the 5th and 4th strings. So keeping those fingers close together will make the chord change a little smoother. And the same, if we think about the E major to the G major, this finger here, the 2nd finger, you're going to keep that on the fretboard as you change. You will shift it up a little bit so it's a touch closer to the fretboard before putting the rest of the fingers down for the G major chord. And that is if you play G like me, and that's why I wholeheartedly recommend you play G like this with the 4th, 3rd and 2nd fingers. Lovely changes. So let's have a little run through of that verse before we go into the chorus. 1, 2, I think that was the dog joining in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. And then we go into the beautiful chorus. The chorus uses these chords here. We've got a D, we've got B minor, we've got A, and again we have G and E minor. Now we're looking at that B minor chord, yeah? Now be honest, did your heart sink just a little when you saw that one? Now it's one we all love to hate, isn't it? But the truth is, to get it better, you've got to actually use it. So we're using it today. And the thing is, this is going to be superb practice of the B minor chord, because the chord progression is pretty similar until the last part where you're going to G, E minor and an A. And this is the great thing about learning songs, because when you learn songs, so many of them have chord progressions that are so repetitive, and repetition is one of the keys to getting better and better. You know, the more often you do the same thing, it's got to get better, right? Especially if you are really putting in focused attention, focused practice. So the chord progression: D, half a bar, B minor, half a bar, A. Now we're going to play that part 3 times. This is where it's really good practice, I think. And again, we're using the thumb to play 1 down strum on each chord change, no more. For the D, as we looked at before, it's the top 4 strings. For this B minor shape, we're using, again, the top 4 strings just like that here. There is a slightly easier version, and that is like this here, where you're only playing the top 3 strings. Now, even though that is a bit of a cheat, a bit of a hack, and I'm not a big fan of hacks and stuff like that, I think this sounds a bit tinny compared to that one there. So if this helps you get started, then use it. But I would wholeheartedly, I think it's the 2nd time I've used wholeheartedly, 3rd time now, I would definitely recommend using all 4 fingers. It's a great shape. For the G, we know it's all 6 strings, as it is for the E minor. And a little chord transition tip: when you're playing G and you're going back to E minor, that 2nd finger, we did look at that earlier in the first verse, or in the verse, and you know, we're keeping the 2nd finger on the fretboard. So when we go back to E minor, we will have to shift it away a little bit to give yourself some space to get your 3rd finger tucked in behind the fret, just behind the fret on the 2nd fret of that D string, to give you that E minor sound. Right, let's have a little go through the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. So the B minor chord, how was it? There is a little tip that we can use, maybe helps the change from B minor to A. Now, these two fingers, the third and fourth finger, are on the fourth and third strings at the fourth fret. Now, when you're going from the B minor to the A major, and especially if you're playing it like the way I play it, with fourth, third, second, right, what you can do, try and keep the two fingers together, and as you go from the fourth and third strings and you go to the second and third, right, or third and second, they will be together. They stay together, and then you just have to try and get that second finger down on the fretboard to complete the A chord. If you're getting value out of this, but you really want some more motivation and some accountability, I do one-on-one classes on a learning platform called Till. Check it out in the description. I hope to see you there. Now, can you imagine playing this through for the first time without having to stop? Well, we're about to do exactly that. Are you ready for a complete playthrough? Well, it's a verse, it's a chorus. That's what we're going to do. Going to keep it nice and slow, very steady. One strum for each chord using your beautiful thumb. And if this is helping you, give us a thumbs up and a like. That's gratefully appreciated. But before we do that, a little word about this thing here. Ta-da! This is a capo. And if you want to play along with the record, the place to put this is on the third fret. And just play everything as we've been looking at. I didn't use it in this lesson because not everybody has a capo, and if you do, you can use that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Playing it simply like that, just with your thumb, doing one strum, I think is so, so gorgeous. If you want more easy beginner guitar songs, then click this link here and get started. Thank you for joining me today, and happy strumming.